about some of our girls' games of the year? Greeley and Oxford Hills. The Rangers hold on in the final seconds to hand Oxford Hills their only loss. Emily Archibald leads Kennebunk to a last-second win, ending Greeley's 48-game win streak. Chloe Arsenal takes over in overtime to lead Boothbay past Winthrop. Elise McNair, the buzzer beater to lead Old Orchard past St. Dom's. And Carly Chapin, the buzzer beater versus Freiburg, helps Kate make the tournament. Our girls' games of the year. All right, the A-Boys tournament has been all Greeley for a record-tying 3 years, but there are challengers in the north. Hamden, led by Mr. Basketball candidate Bryce Lozier, their only loss came to AA Bangor. A major threat to Hamden is Coney. The Rams are the state's second highest scoring team at 80 points per game. Coney's end-to-end game is led by Simon McCormick, one of the best point guards around. He averages 22 points a game and loves the Rams system.
It's really fun. We play fast-paced. We get up a ton of shots, more than other teams. My freshman and sophomore year, we did 5 in, 5 out. So we started kind of getting away from that and playing less people, but we're still playing 9, 10 guys more than other teams. And so we're getting into people's legs all the time. And then when that fourth quarter comes around, we're hitting shots while other teams are putting in their bench because their stars are tired.
They say the styles make the fight. It's always an interesting style when you see Coney. Now, the A-Boys tournament is one of the more anticipated in the state with plenty of star power, as there could be 4 Mr. Basketball semifinalists in this playoff.
Marshwood and Gray on the right shooting night have the players to give any of the top seeds a scare. Patriots won 6 of their last 9. Levitt proved it can take down a Cumberland County school with its 3 OT win over Falmouth. Josiah Learned has the ability to help take the scoring load off Wyatt Hathaway. Greeley's Logan Bagshaw is one of the top scorers in the state, and a player the Rangers could ride to a state championship if he catches fire. Falmouth is again a contender. After spending last year recovering from ACL surgery, Michael Simons has returned to his true form.
I feel a lot more like I used to, a lot more like myself.
Kennebunk likes the up-tempo, and when they take care of the basketball, the Rams are scary. Max Murray gives the Bunk an elite go-to guy. York ran the table in the regular season and may be one of the best teams in Maine regardless of class. Will McDonald and Brady Cummins are elite players, and York can go 9 deep with little drop-off.
The last time York won a boys championship, I was in high school, so that's a long time ago. Michael Hoffer from the Forecast rejoins us. And York or the field, who are you taking?
I think this is going to be a fascinating tournament. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and if the top 4 seeds get through to the semifinals, that's a can't-miss evening. York, what a great year they've had, going undefeated. I think I heard it for the first time ever, 18-0. Great year, but if you're looking for teams that might sneak by and knock York off, you got to start with Greeley, right? I know they've lost a lot over the last couple of years, but when you have a Logan Bagshaw who can light you up for 40 points a night and loves the big stage, I mean, he really thrives under the bright lights. I think you got to take Greeley very seriously. You know, Nick Butler's played very well lately. Luke Gabloff, you've got other contributing players for the Rangers that are going to make them tough. And then, of course, there's Falmouth as well. Dave Halligan, that group, they might not have the most flashy record. Obviously, Michael Simons is a well-known player. And this is a team that I think has slowly gotten better as the season's gone on. They did lose their first 2 games, but they went 14-2 after that. So Falmouth seems like they're going to be right there. And then a Kennebunk team that I don't know much about, but I've heard really good things. I think you're going to see them be in for a run as well. So it's a very top-heavy region, and any of those 4 teams, I think, would make a great representative when all is said and done.
Kennebunk's like an NBA team. You've got a star like Max Murray surrounded by some great shooters, so they've got a chance. Levitt flying a little under the radar, but that win against Falmouth shows that they can play with anybody. And you know what? Marshwood, Gray and Gloucester, those teams are going to be a challenge for whoever opens up with them. Should be a great region. Maybe 6 of the top 20 boys players in the state in this region. So it should be a lot of fun, like you said, to watch this one go. Now, we've talked at length about how successful a season it's been for the York boys, but it could have been a different story for the Wildcats had senior Will McDonald been a little slower in reacting to a life-changing health issue before the season.
By the way he's dominating on the court, you'd never know how close Will McDonald came to tragedy this summer.
My blood sugar I was a couple days away from having like a fatal seizure.
Intense workouts mask the signs of type 1 diabetes.
I definitely felt it going on the last month of the summer. I just thought of it as something that was occurring because of how hard I was working, like working out like 3 times a day and stuff like that. My legs were always sore.
Number 5, Will McDonald.
McDonald lost 30 pounds before he got his diabetes under control. He's played every game this year, but it takes constant management.
There's been games where, like, right before, I'll be questioning myself if I could even play during the game. Like, it'll be so, like everything will be spinning, or I'll feel like I'm gonna faint or something like that. But I mean, like, coach has Skittles, like kids have Skittles on the team. If my blood sugar goes low, they'll throw me some Skittles.
He says, you know, it's I feel pretty comfortable. He checks it, you know, regularly during a practice. He steps off to the side. He'll prick himself and check his blood sugar, and then grab a little snack or manage it in other ways.
Lucky to be alive, McDonald says he'll someday wear an insulin pump, but he's just happy to be where he is now.
I mean, it's been a huge adjustment, and it's definitely something I'll have to live with the rest of my life. But I mean, through like my family and my friends, it's been able to something I've been able to overcome in such a short period of time.
That right there, a kid that loves to play, sometimes gets up 500 shots before he goes to practice. So York, the favorite in A South. Now in Class D, Southern Aroostook goes for a three-peat for the girls. Forest Hills is the defending D-Boys champ. Forest Hills is back at it. They're the #1 seed in the South tournament, averaging 84 points a game. Rangeley, the 2 seed. In the girls South tournament, Greenville is the top seed. Rangeley, the 2 seed. Southern Aroostook up north, looking for the three-peat. They are unbeaten this year. Now, last year was a once-in-a-generation season when it came to girls basketball talent in the state of Maine. Miss Basketball finalists Mackenzie Holmes of Gorham, Anna DeWolf of Greeley, and Faith Blethyn of Booth Bay compiled remarkable scholastic careers. The trio have shown their elite talent by making an impact at the college level as freshmen. Now, for those teams that relied upon those players, there was a transition this year. In Cumberland, Greeley had to learn to live without the force that was Anna DeWolf.
It's very difficult to lose one of the most amazing basketball players in the state. We all knew that everyone had to step up in some shape or form. I think that towards the beginning of the season, it was kind of rocky because we were all a brand new team, completely different dynamic. But I think at this point in the season, we're starting to hit our stride, and everyone's kind of slowly getting comfortable with their new roles. And I think you can kind of see that when we play.
The South is strong again, led by Greeley, which is out for a three-peat. In the North, Hammond is the #1 seed. Their only loss came to Bangor. They've won 9 straight. Gardner has the firepower to take them down. Freshman Lizzie Gruber is a force, and guards Bailey Poor and J.C. Stevens are very, very talented. Mesalonsky lurks with Gabby Weiner as the 3 seed. They can play. They'll have an early tough matchup against Skowhegan, which has J.C. Christopher, one of the top players in that bracket, and it should be an interesting Class A North tournament as well. Here's a look at the southern part of the bracket.
Falmouth has its best team in years, and with tenacious guard play, they will not be an easy out. Jordan Grant leads a Gray New Gloucester team with state championship experience up and down the roster. Nina Howe has quietly had one of the best seasons in the state. Surrounded by an athletic roster, York's a good shooting night away from a big upset. Brunswick depends on a youthful backcourt, but Laney Brewer and Logan Brown can shoot. And the Dragons have an inside option in Alexis Guptill. Marshwood's a 3 seed for the 3rd straight year. The Hawks have a playmaker in guard Angelina Bisson. Kennebunk boasts the most height in the field, and a 6'1" point guard in Emily Archibald, who's among the league leaders in every stat category. The Rams have all the ingredients to win the region. Greeley has reloaded. Molly Obar and Chelsea Graver have stepped in to complement their big 3 of Camille Clement, Brooke Obar, and Katie Fitzpatrick.
The forecaster's Michael Hoffer rejoins us, and Greeley with a bullseye on their back, but I think there's a little bit more depth to this region this year than in a couple of years past, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, Travis. I think the last couple of years it was almost a formality that Greeley was going to win it, barring something really strange happening, which of course didn't happen. This year, Greeley's still very, very good. They did have the 1 loss, and that might have been a good thing for them in the long run. Sometimes a loss kind of gets you refocused, and this Rangers team, a lot of weapons, as you mentioned. One player, Katie Fitzpatrick, has really stepped up for them. We all know how good she is down low, but she's been able to step up and knock down some threes. Chelsea Graver's really stepped up. Molly Obar, one of the players you didn't mention, actually Greeley has 2 Obars that can get you from the outside. So they're going to be tough to dethrone, but there are a lot of good teams in that region. How often is it that you don't even talk about a defending champion until maybe the 5th or 6th team on the list? Gray New Gloucester won B last year. They're an A now. You can't overlook them. As you said, Brunswick, York, certainly capable of an upset. Falmouth won 2 games last year. They won 11 happened this year, Kennebunk should be careful in that quarterfinal if that's going to be the matchup. You can't overlook
a team
Falmouth.
they lost to on opening night, actually.
Exactly.
Right?
So that right there, I think, would get their attention. But I think when all is said and done, if Greeley does what Greeley normally does, they're gonna have a great shot to make it 3 in a row.
And Kennebunk with a lot of versatility when you have a point guard like Emily Archibald, who may be the best player in that bracket. And if you like to pick them according to who the best player is, Kennebunk with a great chance to win that one. All right, moving on in our tournament preview show. It was a banner year for 1,000-point scorers. Here are some girls who hit the plateau. Camille Clement of Greeley in her junior year hit the plateau. Caroline Smith of Freeport went over 1,000. Jordan Grant of Gray New Gloucester. Maggie Whitmore, a senior sharpshooter for South Portland. Julia Colby, the front runner for Miss Basketball, hit the jumper. Hit 1,000. Lexi Middlestad out of Mount Blue and Gabrielle Wiener of Messalonsky among the girls to go over 1,000 this season. A lot of boys going over the 1,000-point mark as well. Logan Bagshaw of Greeley went over the milestone. Zach Matura of Bonnie Eagle also over 1,000. Wyatt Hathaway of Levitt in just his junior year goes over 1,000. Max Murray got over 1,000 for Kennebunk. DJ Douglas of Lisbon had a big year, a big career. He's over 1,000. Simon McCormick of Coney also over $1,000. We are back with more Hoop State Tournament Preview Show after this.